It's really hard to pick one moment or day or memory to share because they're all my favorites and they all had a huge impact on me. But since I'm forced to pick one, I really wanted to talk about the day that we did the baby bundles and the home prayer visits. There's always something so moving about going out into the community and walking through Grand Guave. But on this day, we really got to interact with the people. We got to give them these baby bundles, which we prepared here in Calgary and took with us. They came with us the whole way, so they kind of been on the journey with us the whole time. And we got to finally hand them out to people that we'd been praying for and thinking of as we prepared them. We were able to talk with the families through a translator, and we were able to pray with them. Everything we did in Haiti, absolutely everything, was accompanied with prayer. Later that same day, we went back out into the community, and we were invited into people's homes to pray for them. It was such an honor to be invited into their homes and to have them share their hearts with us and then to pray for them. In Haiti, seemingly everywhere we went, children would come out of the woodworks. They would grab onto our hands and they would just walk with us. There's a little girl up on the screen right here, and on this day she came and she grabbed onto my hand and she just really latched onto me when I had to go hold another baby because I was holding all the babies I could when I was there. But I had to go do something else. She would go to somebody else, but as soon as I was done, she was like reaching for me. She wanted to come back to me. And I never learned her name. I couldn't even really talk to her. We didn't share the same language, but there's a common language of love and friendship, and that's universal. I thought I was going to make it through this. She came with us to several houses, and every time that we prayed, we all laid our hands on the person we were praying for, and we all prayed together all at the same time, out loud, all at once. And during one of these prayer times, I opened my eyes, I looked down, and yeah, your prayer still counts even if you open your eyes. I looked down and I saw her, and she had her little hand out, laying on the woman that we were praying for. There's this old saying that goes, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words. And I just thought this is one example of how we did this in Haiti. Even when we couldn't share the same language, we couldn't understand each other with a common language, this message, this gospel message, was still being preached there. So that's what I want to share with you today.
When we were doing the crafts, my favorite part was when we were doing the crafts because it was cool to see how they reacted to the gifts and the fun things that we brought for them. And I found out that they were really happy even though they didn't have good shelter or food. And before we left, I was very nervous. But when we got there, all of the people were so welcoming, and then my nervousness went away.
Wow. My name is Catherine. I don't attend your church, but my children do, Tim and Jennifer and Peter and Abigail, and I was asked by them to come on this mission trip. I've never been on a mission trip before, and it was actually quite amazing. And just watching this video, I'm not a weeper, but you kind of forget. Once you get home again, you kind of forget what you saw. And looking at this video today, it was just like, oh my gosh, that was quite amazing. It's just like you see on TV. When you see it on TV, you go, oh, isn't that interesting? But when you've been there and you've seen these people, it's just like, oh my goodness. It's indescribable. Like, we live in our culture, they live in their culture. And the two shall never meet, probably. But it was just an honor to be there. And I just want to thank you for sponsoring this, and I hope I get to be a part of it again if you go somewhere again. It was just quite amazing. But one of the things that I had what I wanted to share, but then seeing all this up here, your mind just goes everywhere. You know, I think, oh, that was good, that was good, that was good. But I think the part that was best for me was to going into people's homes and being able to love on them. And like our shirt says, I just read it now, it says, love as you have been loved. Okay, so God loved us first. So we want to extend that to others. And that's what we did. We went there, and not to glorify us in any way, but we went and we shared the love of God with these people. And a lot of times we did not have interpreters, and so they didn't know what we were saying, but you know what? They knew what we were saying. They knew that we were pressing into God and that we were praying things for them to help them in their situation or whatever, just to bless them. And that was just a real honor to be a part of that and to hold these little babies. It was just amazing. And like Chelsea said, I'm not sure whether you're talking about the same little girl, but there was another little girl that when we left the campus and we'd go, there she was. And she lived just right over here in this little house that was of, I think there was tin around it or whatever, and she'd run out and she'd just come and she'd just latch onto you, and she'd look up at you with these great big eyes, and she was just so happy and happy. And one day, the first day, she just smacked me right on the lips, and I went, oh! I wasn't too sure about that. But anyways, but she was just amazing, and she'd come out every day to see us, when we went by, and it was just quite amazing. And then taking the baby bundles to these women that, they love their little babies. They just love their little babies. And God loves them so much. So that was really cool. And then one of the days when people came to receive food, and they came, I think we don't know how many, there was hundreds, I think, I don't know, but they just kept coming and coming, and we were told they were coming in 2 lots, one at 10:30 and one at 10 and one at 11. And at 10:25, no one had come yet, and then all of a sudden we saw these people, and they were walking towards us, and we went, oh my goodness, all these people coming. And they just came, and they all sort of were in a great big group, and then they were corralled in, I shouldn't say corralled, but they were lined in, and they used pantyhose to make lines to keep them where they were supposed to be. And then they brought people up one at a time, and they all come up and they had their little bag. They had their little bag or a purse or something. And there was bags of beans. And they held out their bag, and someone took a can, an old can, and went in the bean bag, and they got a can of beans, and they put it in their little bag. And then they went over and to another little spot, and they got 3 bags of food, and it was supplements of whatever they made up, and it was 3 bags. And so they got that. And so then we prayed. Not one person left without being prayed for, and that was just an amazing thing. And so we did this first group, and we thought, well, wow, that was a lot of people. They all must have came at the same time, at the 10 and 11 o'clock. So we were finished, and then all of a sudden we saw more people coming. And this was the 11 o'clock group. They just kept coming and coming. There was hundreds of them, I'm sure. And so again, they lined up, and they came, and they got their little bag of beans. And they got the 3 bags of food and got prayed for, and away they went. And that happened every Friday. And they had to have a number in order to come and get the food. And there was always 3 or 4 ladies that knew everybody in the community. Let me know if I'm going too far. I tend to do that. But anyways, there's 2 or 3 ladies in the community, and they know who needs food, right? So you have to get this number on a card. And if you don't have a number on a card, you don't get to go in. So they all had the number on the card. But these 3 ladies, they were amazing as well. You know how we said we prayed for them? Well, this one lady, Matilda, I think was her name. Anyway, she prayed for me. And I went, and I didn't know what she was saying, but I knew that she was praying to our God for me. And it was just quite amazing. So receiving it from that end and knowing then what we were giving unto them was quite amazing. So if you've never been, I'm at my age, I'd never been on a mission trip before, and I know that God, He's prophesied already that there's going to be more than this one. So if you've never been, think about it and see what God will show you about that. If you've been, go again. It's just quite amazing. So thank you.
Apparently that's my name up there. So these are mostly the pictures up here of the days that we sorted the beans. It was the most interesting thing ever. After building a house in the morning, we came back, had lunch, and we were told we were sorting beans. I didn't understand that at first because I'm like, sorting beans? Okay. So we were given, like my mom said, this old can, maybe a little rusty, I don't know. And we had to sort the beans in these bags.
And the first few times we were doing it, if you don't hold the bag under the container strong enough, the bag will just slip out. Happened a couple times, and they just said, oh, just put the beans back in the bag. And here I'm thinking, it's on a dirty table. Hygiene. I don't understand. They're like, okay, we'll just put them back in. I don't want to waste a bean. And then when we were doing what my mom was saying, handing out the food in the Friday afternoons to all these families, and here they're just scooping the bag of beans into whatever bag these people came in with. And I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter really much about hygiene for the food. And they were saying, it's going to be boiled out. You're good. But the day that we were sorting the beans, it was great because the kids got to see what these families eat if they don't have food. And we just started singing a song. I think every day we did it twice. And we just started singing these old kids songs. And it was just great to see how everybody just worked as a team.
What I loved about being in Haiti is getting to hold babies. When we went to the children's home, Natalia, even myself, were taken into the girls' dorm, and we got our hair braided. It was so much fun. All the kids were so nice. While at the children's home, I got to meet Amanda, and we sponsored her.
While being in Haiti, the part I loved was holding all the babies. It was hard work building the house, but so worth it for the family that the house went to. At the end of most days, we went tarantula hunting. It was a group activity. It was lots of fun, and importantly, it was Mr. Collins' idea. We found the tarantulas in their homes, which are called tiny holes, and I can't wait to go back.
So the far top picture there, that is me doing devotions. I guess I was the team lead, so to speak, that Colin said that I was the ministry lead, since I was singing most of the children's songs and doing most of the devotions up at the children's places, so that was kind of cool. The top one is us going to Lergau, and that was quite the experience. You get a 45-minute hike to go up, and of course, like a 15-minute hike to get down. And as you can see, I'm a little wet. That wasn't from my wife dumping water on me or anything of that. That was just from a 37°C heat that we walked up in. The very cool thing about, you'll see in the top right picture, I had a nice little water bottle in my hand, and it was kind of neat just seeing kids light up when I sprayed them. I really enjoy being with kids, so it's quite the moment. Even the kids outside of the church we were in, it was quite the experience because I'd walk by the window and you'd just spray them, and so they could be a part of what they saw in the church, but they couldn't really be in the church. It was interesting seeing these kids corralled in, but anyways, but these kids were corralled in and they stopped right at 50. There was there was kids outside, they wouldn't allow them in, but they just stopped them at 50, and it was to basically keep control, so to speak, because there was like 200 kids available to come if we wanted to. Like Colin, I think we kind of joked that, yeah, we should get all 200 kids to come in, and I think that would have been pure chaos. Not that 50 wasn't. So some of the other pictures here are us just working at the house, and I find the biggest thing was prayer. From my experience, prayer was not something I did that often. Like I'd pray, but it wasn't like out in open. It wasn't with a lot of people. It was just by myself, and it was really neat being able to pray for 50 people in like 2 hours, or actually even an hour. I think we did it in. We got these people through the food distribution, and it was like a mob, and all of a sudden we had them gone within an hour, and we prayed for it must have been 50 people apiece. It it was absolutely stretching. So coming back from Haiti, it was quite interesting because my prayer life has completely increased. I'm seeing some pretty amazing things just from praying. And in the morning, I just pray, and it's just a continual thing now, which is quite amazing. I never thought that would be the biggest thing I took from Haiti, but prayer was a huge thing, and it really expanded my prayer. So yeah, that was the biggest experience for me. Anyways.
So for 2 hours a day for 3 days, Chelsea and I got the opportunity to go through and verify hundreds of sponsor gifts for Lifeline children. So when everybody else got to do bean packing, we got to sort through the gifts. Junior, who's in the background, helped us to lift and move several boxes from pallet to pallet after every gift was accounted for. Every gift was labeled with donors' names, their identification number, the sponsor child's name and identification number, as well as the location that the gift was going. So we had to verify everything that was in the correct box, that it was labeled correctly, and that it matched the master list. It was incredible to be able to handle each gift that was so carefully and lovingly packed by individuals, families, and churches for a deserving child in Haiti. In today's world, with constant negativity in the news, it was encouraging to see that there is so much love in the world and that good people who want to make it better and share the good news of the Lord. So for my second picture, this is what a lot of us have already talked about already, but was for prayer. So going to Haiti was a once-in-a-lifetime trip for me. It was a trip of many firsts. It was my first missions trip, my first trip to leave Canada and go further than just Minot, North Dakota. First time to go through customs myself. First stamp in my passport. And the first time to find peace in prayer and strength in God. So for anybody who knows me or has been in a connection group with me, will know that I'm not a very vocal person. I tend to keep to myself during prayer time for the fear and nervousness of not knowing what to say. So going to Haiti completely changed this for me. I found a strength in God that I never felt before, and was able to push my fears aside for the many, many Haitians that we got to pray for and for our daily activities. So I didn't know until I actually got home that almost everybody on the trip had actually taken a picture of me praying with a Haitian that afternoon that we did the meal distribution and nutrition program. So I left Haiti having gained an indescribable confidence and feeling that I can do so much more than I ever thought I could do or was ever capable of. I left Haiti so much more in love with God and thankfulness for Jesus than ever before. Now when I pray, I feel completely at peace and more connected to God and those around me needing prayer. So I have a new understanding of what it means to trust God and give your worries to Him, because I know that He'll provide me with the strength and courage I need to tackle anything.
I had a lot of great experiences on our trip, but one of the things that I liked were the church services. We went to 2 different church services out there. One is Lifeline's main church in Grand Guave on the campus where we were staying. We went there Sunday morning. The service itself was longer than here, and the preaching was different, but the overall service is similar. There were lots of people there, and we got to sing up in front of them. There was a lot of kids who were all very well behaved. They were very loving and welcoming to us. There was a little girl sitting beside me, and I got to hold her. She also fell asleep in my arms. She is very cute. I did not hear her name, though. On Tuesday night, we got to go to another church service in Gentil, this time in a smaller community near where we were staying. We climbed into the cage in the back of the truck, and we drove out into the community on a lot of bumpy, windy roads. It was a small church and it was hot. The other church was hot too, but they had huge fans and this one didn't. They did have a generator, but it was too loud, so they ended up turning it off. While we were there, it started to get dark, and they hung up one little battery-powered light, which really didn't do very much. We praised God and worshipped Him during the sunset, and we sang in the dark with the sound of crickets in the background. It was amazing. Their instruments were homemade, and they had tin instruments and tambourines. There's a little boy sitting in front of us that was playing a tambourine, and he was just playing away. I even thought at first that he was supposed to be playing with them until one of the boys from the band took it away. And then the little boy just cried until they passed out the fans. That made him happy again. We also sang in church for them. We sang Amazing Grace, and then God is So Good, which we sang in English and Creole. Church is about 2 hours long, and I can't believe the kids can sit still for 2 hours straight. By the time church was over, it was dark. Even though I couldn't always understand them, I found it pretty easy to pay attention during service. The other thing that I remember was that the churches in Haiti were having a revival. One morning, about 3 a.m., almost all of us woke up to their singing, which is happening in the church right beside us. But I was so tired that I ended up going back to sleep. What stuck out to me most about church was that even though we still speak different languages, we can still worship together.
So I'll echo what half the people have said. We got to experience and we got to see and we got to participate in so much. Trying to nail down what to talk about is a very difficult task. Seeing the memories in the video as well really just, it stirs back. It's like Catherine said, it's one thing to see it in video, but when you bring back seeing it that you've been there and you can hear the sounds in the video, you can smell the smells, you can see the visuals in a totally different way, and just be brought back into that environment is an incredible experience. So getting to go was amazing. It's always nice to get into another culture, but to get to go this team, to get to know people better, to see all of our lives changing in different ways and seeing how God was using us through that was just an incredible experience that you get on these things. And then contrasting how they live to the blessings we have here, the blessings of our jobs, the blessings of the food in the fridge, water from the tap, and the houses that we lived in. And houses was kind of, the house building was one of the things that stuck out to me most. It was almost a year ago that I went there after a hurricane. Got to see kind of the damage that was there, but not just the damage from the hurricane, just the lifestyle and the homes these people live in. And came back and was able to share that with you. And God stirred all the hearts in this church to decide, you know what, this is something we can do something about. We can raise funds and we can build a house for somebody. So when we got there, this was one of the activities we got to do. You saw it in the video. We pulled up. We did it 2 mornings. We pulled up. It wasn't a good road into it, so we had to walk in, which also meant most of the supplies had to only get taken about halfway in. And we walked through this narrow little swath of land, past all these little houses, till we came to where the house we were going to build was. So in the pictures we shared beforehand, you saw this house in shambles. When we got there, it wasn't even there anymore. They had already taken it down. And it was us, a crew of Haitian builders, the family that was there, and some of their neighbors. Each morning we started out in prayer. So we prayed over the home, we prayed over the workers, we prayed over the family, just that God would bless this as a tool and an instrument for Him, and that He'd keep everybody safe. And then we got to work on the manual stuff. They're the skilled laborers, we're the grunt work. So because stuff could only make it so far, we got to carry the cement in, we got to carry the bricks in and pile them up in a pile. The next day we got to move them from that pile to another pile. Then we got to move those from that pile to another pile. There wasn't a lot of space there, so we just kept moving it around wherever they needed it. We did the sifting. It was incredible to watch. They have very primitive tools. They have very little at their disposal. They're able to very systematically square the house. They're able to level the house. They know exactly what they're doing. They string the strings up. We try not to touch any of the strings to screw everything up for them. They mix cement on the ground. They just pour it on the ground, pour water, and start mixing it right there. They had these 2 big piles of sand that we just sifted. There was nothing of waste in it. We sifted it first, took all the big stuff. That didn't get thrown away. It got thrown in to the foundation of the house. So that, along with some of the crumbled bricks from the old house, became the foundation with cement. We sifted it again, which became the mortar. Then we sifted it again, which became the outside of it. So over the course of 2 days or 2 mornings, we got to the point where the foundation was laid and half of the walls were built. And then we went away. They continued working on it. And then came Friday when we got the humbling experience of getting to dedicate a house on behalf of all of you to a family in Haiti that we don't know. So Tim and I sat down to kind of work on this dedication. What do we talk about? How do we do this? It's kind of a nerve-wracking experience, especially when you don't have the internet to search house dedication. So, we prayed a lot, we talked a lot, and the overriding theme was really, seeing God's hand in all of this. It wasn't us building this house. It says in Psalms 127:1, unless God builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Anybody can build a house, but we weren't there to build a house. We were trying to build a home for this family that could be used as a tool. We were there to show God's love as we built this house. We were being a testimony of God's love for all people, of all races, of all nations, of all economic situations. We were just being a tool to show him that he loves everybody. His love was something that we pray will be used to draw others through the building of this home into relationship with him. See, even back here when I spoke, it was God using those words. God provided everybody here with the resources. It wasn't us providing those resources. God gave all of us what we have here. God stirred your hearts to give. God stirred our hearts to go and gave us this opportunity to serve him in building this house for them. And it was incredible to sit back and watch what started as nothing be a fully fledged, strong, solid house for this family in Haiti, all by using this little church up in Calgary that doesn't know these people, but just had a desire to follow God's lead and to follow his desire and what he wanted to do. And that was really the overriding theme of our whole trip. It was, it wasn't, while we got to do so many of these amazing humanitarian, social justice, loving activities, we got to go out and we got to hold babies, love on these babies, give them a gift from someone here in Calgary of, blankets and clothes and toys. We got to go and do an infant nutrition program where, again, we got to pray over these families and we got to give them baby formula and we got to give them food. We got to give people clothes. We got to give them shoes. We gave more people food. All of these amazing things that were showing God's love, but they weren't there to actually end poverty. They weren't there to make these people never have to have shoes again. They were all tools that were used to share Jesus. They were all tools that God was using that if you're going to get this food, we're going to share God's word with you. We're going to pray over you. We're going to show you God's love in hopes that some people can come to Christ through this. It says in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Every meal, every outfit, every shoe, every act of compassion was just a tool that we could share God's love with these people. And everything was bathed in prayer. As you can see in this picture on that side, and as you've heard from everybody, we prayed over everything. I haven't prayed that much in my life. When we had the 200 or 300 people, it was almost like shotgun prayer. You went, you helped these people get the food, you prayed with them, and you circled back because there were so many more people waiting, but we weren't letting them go without prayer. On behalf of our whole team, thank you. Thank you for raising the support. You guys have supported some or all of us, but you've supported us in prayer and encouragement. For us to get this opportunity to go and represent you over there, to represent what God is doing was a blessing for us. But we just want to thank you for all that you've done for us and this opportunity we have, and most importantly for the prayers you had over us while we were there.
Thank you, team. Yeah, you guys can sit down. You can have a seat, sorry. So we want to honor you as well. I want to make sure that I recognize that honor is due you. Honor is due you for your faith in God and your willingness to go, to stretch yourselves, and the example that you've been, sharing your experiences here today for us. So we give you honor for your faith in God and doing what you've done. Who here wants to go next time? Who wants to come with me when I go next time? So we want to share with you this morning some of our plans. This is actually the perfect time to tell you as well that we aren't currently planning a trip for next summer, but there doesn't mean there isn't necessarily the possibility of us doing one. So if you'd really like to do this, we have enough people to do it, then that is a possibility. But we do already have a couple people, and I wanted to mention this morning. Catherine and Kara is sick. Oh, she wasn't just skipping. Okay. So Colin's wife, Kara, and Catherine are both going to Honduras in just a few weeks on November 20th. We're going to have, I think it was October the 20th. October the 20th, they're going to Honduras with Lifeline Christian Mission, similar to this trip, to go and look at the ministry there. So obviously they missed out on this trip to Haiti, but they're going to join another team from the U.S. to go to Honduras. And so we're going to be praying over them before they leave and sending them as well as they go to Honduras. But there's opportunity. If you felt compelled or called this morning to go and to do something like this, there's great opportunity through Lifeline Christian Mission to maybe join up with another team if we don't have enough people for a team. And of course, in the future, we definitely do plan to go back and to bring another team there, hopefully a bigger team the next time. But for this year, we want to share with you kind of right now, currently, what we're planning to do for this fall. One of the things that we're planning to do this next year is to start partnering with Lifeline Christian Mission here in Calgary through a meal packing ministry. I'm going to get Colin to come and explain it. What's your title? He's just a guy from Lifeline Christian Mission. He's the Canadian Director of Operations for Lifeline Christian Mission. So he'll explain to you what this meal packing ministry is, and I'm going to pass around some of these packed meals so you can kind of get a first-hand glimpse and feel for what these look like.
So you got a glimpse of some of this in the video. When we did the food distribution, so we did an infant nutrition program where Tim got to give a devotional to, but we didn't participate in it at the time, but we did later do the infant nutrition program. So Lifeline Christian Mission in Haiti has these food meals that they hand out. So it's part of their ministry there. These meals actually get served every day in the schools to all the kids, so that every kid going to school is at least getting one solid meal a day that's chock full of protein and vitamins and nutrients to help their brain grow as they go to school. But on top of that, they're also used as a tool in the community. So they have, every day they have different groups coming. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, they have different people coming who are part of nutrition programs. There's infant nutrition programs, there's children nutrition programs, there's family nutrition programs. So they all get vetted and into these programs. Generally, these are the people that are struggling the most in the communities. So there's a lot of Haitian staff there that go out into the community and figure out who these people are, and they're admitted into this program. And then every week they come in and they get 2 or 3 of these bags, not meant to feed them per se, but to supplement for them for the week. But again, it's not just food for them. It's an opportunity for Lifeline to bring people in, to share the message of Jesus with them, to pray over them, and to use this as an instrument to show God's love. The neat part of this ministry, though, is all of these meals are packed here in Calgary. Well, not in Calgary. They're going to be. Packed here in the United States and Canada. So we're starting this up in Canada now. Lifeline Christian Mission in the U.S. packs, I think they did over 7 million meals last year. So they're going up to almost 8 million, I believe, this year, they're trying to get to. So these meals generally go to Haiti. But on top of that, they can be spun up in emergencies. So Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, they were able to ramp up and get donations towards and pack 80,000 meals that were going down to the workers there, the people there that are in need. After the hurricane last year in Haiti, they had 2 million meals that were shipped out. So they have some of them in storage. Most of them get shipped over there, but they're used not just at our ministries. They're shared with other missionaries that are on the ground so that they can help minister to their communities as well. Here in Canada this summer, we got to go out to Regina. I got to take Natalia with. We went out there and we did a meal pack with a church plant there that is in the inner city of Regina. So they have a heart for the Indigenous people. They had an opportunity to serve at a reserve in northern Saskatchewan a few months before and saw just the utter destitute situation that those people are in, the struggle they have for food. So they had a missions conference with their teens there, and we packed over 21,000 servings of oatmeal. That was brought up there and distributed into the community as a way for this church to be able to serve and show the community that they care for them and love them, and hopefully build a community in there that they can go back in the future and plant a church, serve there, just spread God's word. So in the video you saw us packing beans. So what we do is we get together. That was the similar idea of what we do with these. So we have an oatmeal, one that got handed around, and a rice and soy or rice and beans. So these things, we come together as a church or as a community group or as a youth group at a youth conference, and we raise funds and we come together in a safe environment that's really easy for you to invite your neighbors to invite your community to come together and spend an hour or two of just serving. It has a very tangible benefit on the other end. When the people there found out I actually do this up here, they couldn't stop raving about how amazing this food is. Lionel mentioned that they call it tea panique, which means small panic, because when that smell starts getting up into the air, everybody knows what it is, and they know there's food, and they know they love it, so they come on over. We got to sample it there, and it was really good. I've eaten it. I know it's good. Sometimes it's a little different seasonings, but it's good food. They love it. It helps them grow. It gives them strength. But on this end, not everybody gets to go overseas. Not everybody has the ability to. Some people are little kids. Some people are past that stage in life. Some people have health issues. But this is an event that pretty much anyone can participate in. So at the events I've been to, there's been as young as 3-year-olds there just helping along. I got to work alongside someone who was probably in her 60s or 70s who brought her dad along, who was probably in his 90s, sitting there on his little walker with his little oxygen tank, but he was participating. He was there, he was contributing, he was serving, he was getting to show God's love to people around the world. So again, this is something we want to do as a church. We haven't decided the details fully on it yet, but it's something we plan on at some stage inviting our community into, our neighbors into, our coworkers into, environment where you get to stand beside them and work alongside them for probably half an hour to an hour. And we get to serve in a big need, but we also get to share the love of Jesus with them and why we're doing it. In an environment where they might not come to church, many people are willing to serve, and those around the world and those in need. So I'm excited about it. It's one of the big things I do. So I'm excited that we're going to do this. And yeah, we don't have dates or anything yet. I don't know if you want to wrap up more about that or...
Thanks, Colin. So yeah, for this year, we are still working out the exact details, dates of everything. But if you caught there, just you probably caught a lot of things, but just catch that Lifeline Christian Mission has a ministry in Calgary here where they want churches to come together to pack meals, to fill a storage container so they can be sent. It's $500,000. Is that what fits into a container? 285,000. So I don't know if you caught there as well. 8 million they're trying to do, 8 million meals. Lifeline, that's American and Canadian Lifeline Christian Mission. Amazing. And the church in Regina that did 21,000. I don't know about you guys. I'm a little competitive, so can we try to beat them maybe? But it's amazing. For 30 cents, you can send a meal and feed somebody a meal. And so for $5,000, you can do 15 to 20,000. I'm not doing the exact math there, but we're going to do what we're going to do right now. Our plan is to, in a few weeks, we're going to have, probably before the end of October, we're going to have a special contribution during our service to see kind of where we land, where we end up, how many meals we can do. From that contribution, we will schedule a meal packing event. We're hoping to do before December, before Christmas stuff really gets totally drowning all of us. We're going to plan a meal packing event before the end of November, where probably a smaller meal packing event for our church, where we can probably, we can invite some people in, but we'll try to do a meal packing event before December. So that's kind of our plan right now. Special contribution before the end of October. So please be thinking about that and what you might be able to give to that, knowing 30 cents, if all you have is 30 cents, you can provide a meal. But I think we're going to set a goal and try to aim for a specific goal. It won't be to beat the other church in 21,000, but... So we're going to have a special contribution, and then we'll have a meal packing event. So just you're going to start hearing about meal packing event or meal packing, that kind of thing. So you now know what that's all about. If you ever have any questions further, please talk to Colin. You can talk to Rick as well. Rick works for Lifeline Christian Mission as well. I think that's it. Is that sure enough? Again, we want to honor your team and all of you for everything that we all contributed to kind of make this happen this year. Let's go ahead and finish this morning. If you'll stand with me as we go to God in prayer. Let's stand and let's go to Him in prayer and praise, give Him praise for all of it. And then we're dismissed as this prayer is over.